Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Don't you understand, George? It's because you were not born.
Film church.
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
It's that thing when you're with someone and you love them and they know it, and they love you and you know it, but it's a party, and you're both talking to other people and you're laughing and shining, and you look across the room and catch each other's eyes, but not because you're possessive or it's precisely sexual, but because that is your person in this life, and it's funny and sad, but only because this life will end. And it's this secret world that exists right there in public, unnoticed, that no one else knows about. It's sort of like how they say that other dimension exists all around us, but we don't have the ability to perceive them. That's what I want out of a relationship. Or just life, I guess.
Ahoy, sexy! And welcome to Film Mojo Dojo Radio, the podcast that treats cinema as a religion. It's Sunday. I'm Brandon.
And I'm the same person, but with different hair.
And we're here to talk about movies. Each week, Lewis and I alternate picking a film for us both to watch and discuss. And this week, I picked kind of two movies. Frances Ha from 2012 and the billion-dollar box office sensation Barbie from this year, 2023. Of course, if you want to find out what we're going to be talking about next Sunday, you got to wait till the end of the episode where Lewis is going to reveal it, because it'll be his pick. Get ready for a fun episode, y'all. It's going to be all about Greta Gerwig today. Thanks to everybody who's been listening to the show and following our podcast. Episode 91. What?
In the 90s.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Close to 100. That's so wild.
I should be wearing parachute pants. Is that the 80s? I'm always late.
Of course, if you like the show and you want to share it with other people, tell them filmchurchradio.com. That's where you can find all the podcast platforms. And, we might be expanding that website hopefully soon. Been talking about it. And social media at Film Church Radio. See all our little clips. Give us a share if you want, or don't. Just listen. That's cool too. So the way the show works is we have our hymn section / trailer section where we discuss other films besides the main feature, and then we have a feature presentation, which is Frances Ha. But normally in this our trailer section, Lewis and I will talk about other films, just random movies we've been watching throughout the week. But we're just going to be talking about Barbie and other Greta Gerwig movies before we talk about Frances Ha. So, Barbie, 2023, huge sensation. You and I have briefly talked about it when we saw each other a couple weeks ago. What was your reaction to the movie? I mean, I'm sure you knew it was going to be great. I know you're a huge Greta Gerwig fan, and Lady Bird is one of your favorite movies. So what did Barbie meet your expectations?
It did. It's been on my to watch list since it was pretty much announced, because it just sounds like the most insane mock-up ever. This person that's come kind of from indie films and is growing as a filmmaker and putting out some seriously impressive work, then being signed to do a Barbie movie with the biggest actress in the world, biggest star, pretty much. It's bizarre. It felt really weird. But then as soon as you see it, I feel like everything makes sense. It's the only way that this story can be told in a sensitive and interesting way, I think. I think with other people it could have become just bland and boring and the same kind of film we've already seen.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that. And the audiences are agreeing, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they attack everyone in this movie. Like, nobody is left, protected from criticism in this film, including Mattel, including the lady who created Barbie.
Yeah.
They even have a joke about her, like, tax evasion in the movie. And I mean, it was, the stroke of genius here. I mean, I actually don't know the story behind the way this film was made, but my hunch is Mattel came to Margot Robbie because she was the obvious choice. Yeah. And Margot Robbie was like, well, if I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it my way. And I want Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
And that was the stroke of genius, was like taking a huge, well-known thing like Barbie and having an actual interesting artist create something out of it.
Yeah.
Somebody with something to say.
Exactly.
Not just somebody who was just going to make a cash grab.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a very, like, it's a great tightrope because it's not all, like, I don't know, there's just so much being said in this film. And I think that, like, the more you watch it, the more these things stick out. It's not like and it's not blaming Barbie for representation of women. Sometimes it kind of sticks up for the doll and, like, it's just a toy. We put a lot of, like, pressure on this doll to fix,
and to just represent women.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, but yeah, it's just, it can't be all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first time I watched it, I think, it's hard as a film, like someone who's really into film, and it's so hard to be so into film.
Yeah. So hard.
Such a hard life. Just watching movies all the time.
Yeah.
No, like, but just as a filmmaker and as a film person, I'm constantly just hypercritical, I think, and it's hard to let go of that stuff sometimes, especially like when you're going into a movie like Barbie, where there's already so many people saying so many things and having so many opinions, to just sit back and enjoy it and not like just completely be dissecting it the whole time I'm watching it. So, the first time I saw it, I kind of came away from it like, I know that was really good, but I mean, I didn't like connect with it necessarily on a personal level. And I kind of realized like, oh, this is probably how a lot of people who aren't white and male feel.
Yeah.
And all these other movies coming out, like, oh, I wasn't represented in that movie.
Yeah.
But I think, watching it the second time, I enjoyed it a lot more, enjoyed it from, I mean, it's just a funny movie.
Yeah.
It also is saying a lot, and it's also like, I think it's good for someone like me to kind of have some of those realizations. Like, I mean, it's cool to see like a big movie like this not have me in it, what I mean, kind of a thing. Like, it's cool that like movies like this are going to be successful now, and that's what people are wanting, and they don't just want your basic plot of blockbuster sensations or whatever. They want something that's actually saying something and representing something real. I mean, it's still satirical, of course, but like, but real at the same time. And I think that's why it works, It's like the character that Will Ferrell plays is is so Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's not like it's not like Will Ferrell doing something we've never seen before, but
Yeah.
in the context of this movie, it really, really works because like people in power are like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
And I
so
feel
disconnected, and like the part where he's I forget what it. Oh, I think she makes a joke about Ken whenever Barbie is like in the office with the CEO.
Yeah.
She makes some kind of joke, and then when Will Ferrell is just like tapping his bros, he's like laughing with everyone. He's like making sure he's tapping all of his bros. Like that's so real.
Yeah. 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 And I think that is a genius part of casting. Just because, you know, our generation especially, and I think that's who this film is aimed at. I know that it's, you know, being a Barbie movie is kind of everyone, but our generation especially will gravitate towards it. But we grew up with Elf, so Will Ferrell is always going to be the like lovable, silly doofus, you know.
Yeah.
And him, I mean, I know that's the role he's played quite a lot, but putting him in this role means that CEO never becomes like evil. He's just a jerk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
exactly.
you know, he's still warm to him when he's on screen. You're like, oh, cool. He's back.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because he's still lovable, right? It's like
mhm.
it's so easy to hate a character like that because you know.
Well, you could write him into being like a, you know, a hand rubbing villain that's just out for money. But thankfully, it's not quite that.
Yeah, because I guess even with all of the, you know, like I said, this movie takes shots at everybody. But even with that, does this movie really have a villain?
I mean, it's just, masculinity, isn't it? It's you know, that's the main villain, is the corruption of these.
The brainwashing.
Yeah.
I guess the brainwashing of just sticking to one like ideal way of thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even Ken is like, you know, sort of an antagonist, but then, you know, it's about his journey too of self-discovery and like, you know, I am Knuff.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I do love like, and we'll probably talk about this with Francis Ha as well, but like the Kubrick references, like the whole opening of the film is just straight up 2001: Space Odyssey.
It is,
which is amazing. I really kind of wish that I just had not seen any of the trailers or anything about this movie before going into it. You know?
Yeah.
Because I think I would have like been able to enjoy those parts of it in the moment, seeing it for the first time. You know, not that I didn't enjoy it at the theater, but it was like, you know, the whole opening sequence was in the trailer.
Yes.
You know, and it's like brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's the whole Shining reference. You know, we're shining, you know. Which you know, of course, is also in Francis Ha, which we'll talk about, but yeah, obviously somebody loves The Shining.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know, again, we'll talk about this with Francis Ha, but Baumbach and Gerwig are both kind of, you know, New York is part of their film past. And it was for Kubrick. You know, he was a kid from New York that started making films in New York.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure there's a lot of overlap in terms of references.
Yeah.
And, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's just the perfect way to start a movie. Because it just appealed to everyone, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, it was kind of short enough so people that didn't really get it or didn't know what it was from, it wouldn't interfere in the rest of the movie. But it was, you know, for the film community, it was like, cool. I know exactly what this film is going to be about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's obviously like some Matrix references with the like shoes,
Yeah.
which was great, like choosing with shoe.
Yeah.
And I really felt like the part with Ruth, I was just getting very Matrixy vibes, like because she's running through the Mattel building, and then
Yeah.
well, you haven't seen the Matrix, I forget, but yeah, you'll understand what I mean
Yeah,
when we watch
yeah.
the Matrix movies. But the part, because she's running through the building and she goes into a room, and then Ruth is in there, and she's sort of like an oracle,
Yeah.
almost. So that was a lot of Matrix vibes.
Nice.
But a couple of other references that I loved was the BBC Pride and Prejudice section, which I rewatched earlier this year. Like my sister is obsessed, and Sarah, honestly, as well, my girlfriend. And yeah, that was amazing. And then just like the weird little Barbies that come in at the end, where they're you find out that these were actual Barbies, like Sugar Daddy Ken, and the Barbie with the TV on her back.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? And like Mattel's way of getting around it being an actual sugar daddy is like, no, this puppy was it a puppy or a cat? I think it was a.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have to take a closer look.
Yeah.
But it was like a little like pet.
Yeah.
And it's named Sugar.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm his daddy. The Zack Snyder cut reference.
Yeah.
Like just such a. I mean, again, it goes back to that like thing of obsessing over one thing, and it being life, it being the only thing you can subscribe to, and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, that was a weird period in history.
The Snyder cut.
Yeah, like the whole, and they got what they wanted, which is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Because that has never happened before.
No.
But yeah, I mean just how self-aware of like the film industry as a whole as well. Because a lot of there was a lot of expectations for this movie, and even probably in the writing process they were semi-aware of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume that it was probably never talked about making it into a franchise, but that's the way everything else is gonna. You've got to be silly not to think that would be where they would want to go
with Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, even in the writing process, you can see that they're just kind of like.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that too. It's like, it's a really great film, and you almost don't want to touch it by making a sequel, but. I mean, that's leaving a lot of money on the table. And with the way that it ends, spoilers. I mean, obviously there's been a billion spoilers. But with the way that it ends, and Barbie going to the real world, you could just leave her in the real world, go back to Barbie Land, and it'd be about a different Barbie.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And it'd not even be Margot Robbie. And
well, I was going to say, I don't think that the 3 stars, including Ryan Gosling, I don't think any of them would come back. Yeah.
I mean, Margot and Greta Gerwig, I could see coming back as producers.
Margot especially, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I guess if you had Margot Robbie as a producer again, and then found another interesting filmmaker to take the reins on the next one, then it could potentially be good. But I think where they went right with this film was putting it in Greta Gerwig's hands and letting her go with it, and not cutting back. Not cutting back on all of the not pulling any punches, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the only thing that I've heard about that they didn't like was the F-bomb, and then they just put the Mattel logo over it.
Yeah, which makes it,
It makes it even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they joke around about like a Ken movie in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be something.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely going to try and milk it a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
Because most people don't know. Like, I don't. I think most people aren't following like who directs movies. Like like we do.
I'm sure. Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
sure
going to
if
be Barbie 2, and they're going to be like, yeah, Barbie 2.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't really pay attention to.
And I'm sure, like because the amount of people that've gone to see this, they'll be just the very casual moviegoers, and I can imagine them being like, yeah, I hope they make a sequel. I hope they make another one. That was fun.
Yeah.
Which seems to be kind of like a generic phrase for I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Which, could mean anything. Could mean the director themselves. Could mean the film. But yeah, I think that we're definitely going to see a whole wide variety of a continuation of Barbie movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's already been like a ton of like animated Barbie movies.
Yeah, right.
Not to say that they hold a candle to this and should be kind of viewed in the same way, but I mean, it's not new for Mattel to be, flogging this horse.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they're talking about, making movies out of their other properties too.
Yeah, I know. I saw that I think today that Mattel have now got like a whole entertainment part of their corporate structure, and they're looking at like Play-Doh
Mattel
movies.
Is going to be the. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. So
I mean, Lego Movie did well.
It did, yeah, but can Play-Doh live up to the hype?
Can it live up to the hype? Yeah. to the legend of Play-Doh. Yeah, I was also thinking about, Michael Keaton's portrayal of Ken in Toy Story. It's pretty great too.
Yeah, it is great. But when you come out of this, like, I thought about that too, and I did find it. I know that he's like the butt of most of the jokes, but compared to Barbie, he is he's the main character
in the Toy Story movie.
Yeah,
it's
like Barbie's there as like the one he's been looking for, as opposed to like she's the lead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this. The good thing about this is it kind of had me questioning a lot of representation before this. As someone that I think is very liberal minded and looks at things on all sides as much as possible, this still did kind of give me food for thought, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just thinking just now, like, and I don't know if this might be a criticism of the movie, but just that. Yes, I think this was the right way to make this movie.
Yeah.
To actually do something good with it,
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's still Mattel. You know what I mean? It's still the corporation.
They're going to sell.
It's still a product of the corporation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that like corporations nowadays have to position themselves in a manner where it's like the corporation has morals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more important, like what the corporation is saying, what the corporation is putting out, and what the corporation stands for and stands with, we stand with this group or this and that. It's like, well, a corporation is not a real entity.
No.
It's like a corporation is just made up of people. And you know, it's like the corporation's morals are more important than like it's like, well, what do the actual CEOs and people that work for the company believe?
Yeah.
You know, because they're not necessarily the public face of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that the people that work for Mattel and the CEO of Mattel is corrupt, because I have no idea who that person is or who those people are. But I mean, I'm sure they're ecstatic right now about how much money they're making.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like, I just hope that those people are actually going to do something good with all this money.
Yeah.
And not just be like, let's make Barbie 2. You know, like.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot there to kind of to unpack. I mean, the fact that this film was designed and conceived to sell Barbies, as was Transformers, as was probably the film Battleships. I don't know if that was their end goal.
Star Wars, honestly.
Star Wars, yeah. Like, you look back, merchandise tie-in has become a huge part of new release cinema, and this is like a great way. The important thing to take away is that, yeah, it's going to sell product for Mattel and they're going to make money off it, but is it saying something very important that needs to be said at the same time? Yes, it is. Is it using that platform to present a different kind of story? It 100% is. And that's what's important. It's not just a Michael Bay, like, look how cool Transformers are beating each other up. You can buy them. It's actually like it feels kind of like a dissertation on or a thesis on the role
product
of
of Barbie.
Yeah, within our society.
Yeah.
Which works.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess the ironic thing that works for this movie, or I guess that's the ironic thing, is that, you know, you have to actually criticize the product itself and open it up and like actually look at it from all the different angles for it to make $1 billion. Yeah. Otherwise, what are you doing? You know?
I know.
Like, and this movie is going to be talked about for generations and for, you know, like, it's going to go down in film history.
It is. And that's incredible. I mean, we'll get on to the kind of the performance of it in just a sec, but I've seen a lot of kind of criticism, especially now that it's been out for nearly a month, you know, like, oh, I've seen, you know, hordes of females kind of going into the screening wearing pink. Is this the, you know, the role of women that we want to be presenting, blah, blah, blah. Like, Ryan Gosling steals the show in a film that should be about women, blah, blah. And it's like...
Does he?
That's the kind of stuff I've read, but I feel it's not... people are just looking for any excuse to kind of bring this down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it is a $1 billion movie at the box office, directed by a woman, and it's now, I think, Warner Brothers' highest ever grossing film.
That is wild.
And I don't think that is adjusted for inflation. It can't be.
Well, probably, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
probably not.
It overtook, was it Dark Knight Rises recently? Yesterday, maybe?
I think so, yeah. I saw something about that.
It's a staggering achievement, and it means now that even more so, Gerwig can just write her check for whatever she wants to direct next, or write next, or act in next, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like, in terms of Ryan Gosling stealing the show, I mean, he is incredible in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, he's awesome, and not to take anything away from him, but if Ryan Gosling steals the show, so does Kate McKinnon. Like, so does everyone else in the movie. Yeah.
The person that I don't think is being talked about enough that I thought did a really, like, you know, the soul of the movie was America Ferrera.
Yeah, which character was she? Oh, she's the mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, she has the all important monologue
Yes.
nearly
Yeah.
got me
Where's-
kind of out of my seat, whooping and fist pumping. So
Yeah, where she's talking about, everything
it's never
a
good
woman
enough.
has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome in the movie.
She is.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But I think it's across the board. It's a strong cast.
Yeah, exactly. And Margot Robbie is perfect
She is.
as
Yeah,
Barbie.
she is.
Like her
Mhm.
acting ability is she's amazing. Like
Mhm.
she's not just beautiful.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she is one of the greatest living actresses.
And I think it's very smart because she doesn't. I mean, as an actress, she is the main thing of the movie, but she's not who you kind of gravitate towards within the film.
Yeah.
It's kind of her journey, but the supporting characters are the ones that have more to say, and I think that's very telltale of who she was as like a producer and stuff like that. Is that she can let the other characters shine and know that her place is kind of to just move the story along for the majority of the film.
Yeah. Yeah. She's not a star who's like selfish in that way.
Yeah, I mean, like that speech we were just talking about, it would have been so easy as a producer to be like, actually, I think I should say that. I think I should have this kind of the huge moment. But it's, it's generic. It feels natural. It comes from someone that lives in the real world. So
yeah. Go white savior Barbie.
That's right.
What else about Barbie?
It's just great. I think it's going to go down as maybe not one of the greatest movies of all time, but certainly a film for film history.
Well, yeah, one of the greatest satires, probably.
Mhm.
I would assume it's going to be analyzed in that way.
Yeah.
I was thinking about kind of Mel Brooks and stuff while I was watching it the second time.
Yeah.
And his satires on America and stuff.
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Just
Yeah.
And I don't know, just in terms of just a smash hit satire, I guess.
Yeah. This is the year of Barbie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Oppenheimer yet, bro.
Me neither.
I can't believe it.
I know. I do want to catch it in the cinema though.
Yeah.
So
same.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be there for a while.
That bomb will keep ticking.
Yeah. But yeah, Barbie is great. Greta Gerwig is great.
I was gonna say like John Cena popping up was weird.
Yeah.
But after watching it the second time, I was like, I guess it kind of makes sense because like it's more of a commentary on like every bro movie has John Cena in it, and once I get back to Barbie Land and it's been taken over by Ken, John Cena's there.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like John Cena is kind of like the Ken version of the ideal man. Not saying that he's not, because he's obviously like, very fit and very funny as well. But it's kind of like, John Cena is the man that I think, like the guy that played guitar at you would be like, he's my guy.
Yeah. 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 I feel that. Yeah. Because he's. Yeah.
He's a man.
Because he's a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like pretty vanilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chelsea saw him in London once and said that it was a little bit strange. She saw him kind of, I don't know whether they were at some kind of like royal house or something. She was like looking around, and he had like his girlfriend, I think, with him, and then like a manager, and they left him for a moment, and he just sat on a table and stared straight ahead for like 5 minutes until they came back.
What?
Yeah,
he's a robot, dude.
Yeah, he just kind of powered down for a minute and just stared straight ahead, and then they came back, and he was like, "Okay, let's go."
Weird.
Very weird. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's just
Yeah, I mean, I've seen clips of him on talk shows, and he's great with fans, and
yeah.
he's awesome. But
Maybe he's I don't know, AI generated or something.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, you can't see me because I'm not actually real. I'm created by AI.
Yeah. Cool. Barbie was sublime.
Yeah, it was great. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Like, unlike you, I've only seen it the once. I know that it's coming to streaming on September the 5th, which is when this episode goes out in like a week, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to settling down and watching it.
It's so quick.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it's still doing good business at the box office. It's still taking, like, I don't know, the domestic, like, a couple of grand, $6,000 a day. So, oh no, I'm doing it wrong. I don't know, but it's still taking a lot of money at the box office. So
yeah,
and still in like over 4,000 theaters as well.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was talking about that, and he was saying that it might just have been a contractual thing of like, after so many weeks, it's going to go to streaming.
But potentially, yeah. I mean, it is Warner Brothers, and they did have that thing with HBO, right, where they did the simultaneous releases.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, Oppenheimer's still doing, a little bit less business, but still in more cinemas than when it originally opened. So people want to see that as well.
Yeah, nice.
Which is great. The movies are back. Thank you.
They're back, baby.
Thank you
for a moment.
Queen Gerwig.
Do what?
Thank you, Queen Gerwig.
Oh, I thought you said Green Gerwig. Printing money.
Yeah, well.
All right. You ready for the next thing?
Yeah, let's switch lanes completely and talk about something completely unrelated.
All right. It's time for our feature presentation. Frances Ha, 2012. An aspiring dancer moves to New York City and becomes caught up in a whirlwind of slightly fair weather friends, diminishing fortunes, and career setbacks. I said flightly, and it's flighty. I was like, flightly? What does that mean? Yeah, I had seen this movie, several years ago, and I've been wanting to go back and rewatch it, and so that's why we're here right now talking about it.
Perfect time.
Same with Lewis.
Yeah, I literally just bought it in the July Criterion sale to rewatch it again.
Yeah, and I saw your note. Crazy thing. City Lights, spine number 680, and Frances Ha is spine 681. Back to back.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
This is now a chronological Criterion podcast. So 682 next week, spine number.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like there's film gods or something.
Yeah, bizarre.
But yeah, this movie is directed by Noah Baumbach, written by Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, as was Barbie, and this movie is great.
Yeah, it is. It started the obsession that I have with both Baumbach and Gerwig when I first saw it when it was released in 2012. I've been following both of their careers pretty closely ever since 2012. It's been this film is a breath of fresh air. It's light, it's poignant, it's funny, it's sad in places. It's and it's under 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too.
Which is it's nice. To get a film that can just know what it wants to say in an hour 25.
Get it said.
Yeah.
It feels very dense for 90 minutes. I mean, there's so many location changes and different characters popping in and out that you only see for a scene, and but it feels very much like real life in that way, I think.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love it. I love the vignettes that we get to see. You know, they could all be unrelated, and I would still really enjoy it. I think I love just seeing her kind of going about her daily business and coming into contact with people and the conversations that they have and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Greta Gerwig makes the movie.
100%.
You know, like if you know the writing is funny and fun and and it's shot interestingly and the music is good and all of that stuff. But you know, if the main character isn't charming and likable and somebody that you're curious about
Yeah.
what she's gonna say next or do next, then this movie is not good.
Yeah.
But
and I think
she's
at
awesome.
At any point it could become annoying. You know, there's the scene, especially with the girl that she knows from dancing, that lets her kind of crash in her apartment for 5 weeks, and she's like, "Come on, let's play fight." And I was like, I think anybody else, or the vast majority of people in that position, you would be like, "Ugh, no!" Like, this person is incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a real person, but it's handled so well with her. It feels so organic.
Yeah, it does. It feels like, yeah, she's a real person.
Yeah.
And I assume that that's part of her personality too. Like, it's got to be, it's got to be. Not that I'm saying she's not a good actress, because I think she is, but I think that this probably works on a personal level. But that's just an assumption. I don't know for sure, but I think that's probably part of maybe what the collaboration between her and Noah Baumbach, why that worked so well, was because he was sensible to her acting ability and what what a good character she could play.
Yeah.
In terms of this character.
Definitely. Yeah. I do love their collaborations. After this, they did Mistress America, which again, she plays someone completely different, and is really great in that. And then there's obviously the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah. This movie is interesting because it's I don't know if it doesn't feel totally real. Like, parts of it do, but it also feels kind of like heightened or satirical. It's like the scene with her and her boyfriend in the beginning, when he's like trying to get her to move in with him, and then all of that stuff felt like pretty real in terms of like, this is probably what someone would say, but also a bit of an exaggeration, but done in a way that it's believable. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of the movie is like that, where it's like, okay, would this actually happen? Like, they I don't know, they somehow take something ridiculous and make it believable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that the whole movie is like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Just the whole fact that she's moving across all these different places. She books that trip to France on a whim. It's very heightened as to what people would actually do.
Yeah.
But like you say, it just works.
Yeah.
So you had seen this before. When was the first time that you saw it? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. No. Yeah, I mean, I remember. I don't know. I'm trying. I don't remember a lot about my feelings about it. Just that I kind of enjoyed it, and it felt very artsy, I think. I mean, I was a lot younger too, so I think it maybe just didn't impact me as much. I just remember liking it,
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember much about it. I remember Gerwig being really great. But yeah, that's about it. But I do really like this style of filmmaking, where it's like
Me too.
where it is kind of vignettes and like the camera work isn't overly it's stylized but not really, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
guess the shots and the angles aren't stylized, but the black and white is a very distinct choice. And then also like the costume designs and the characters and everything are all very distinctive.
Yeah.
I think the choice to have Sophie wear like those glasses, like whoever found those glasses and then designed the lighting was like that was a stroke of genius.
The shot. Are you talking about the shot in the back of the cab, especially?
Well, yeah, like that,
That's
and
incredible.
then there's a
Yeah.
bunch of shots where she she'll turn a certain way and her glasses just turn completely white.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all that stuff.
Me too.
And yeah, I mean, just watching it, like the whole scenes where she goes home to visit her family in Sacramento and all the Christmas stuff. They're such short shots, but they say so much in such a short amount of time. It's hard for me to imagine, like, did they just get these shots really quickly and they were just perfect, or did he shoot so much stuff?
Yeah.
And have to cut out so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like a shot where she's like walking down the street during Christmas with her dad, and she's like, "Why would Mom give away all the tamales?"
Yeah.
That's the shot. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think there's probably like a lot of scenes that they left kind of on the cutting room floor, but with those being Gerwig's like real life parents, I think that it's probably they just kind of tried to capture as much as possible. Probably put them in situations and just kind of kept the camera rolling.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so that was her real parents, huh? So like that. I guess there was a lot of natural kind of home movie-ish stuff going on.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Because I did read something with Gerwig that said that if they had extended it to the point she wanted there to be like more conversations about like what she's doing with her life and stuff like that they would have had to hire real actors, but she just liked the feel of like the vignettes, a little like the montage more.
Yeah,
it just worked better at that point in the film.
That brings up a good point back to Barbie at the end, where there's the collage of all the home movies, like when basically Barbie is becoming a real person, and then you get all these like home movie clips. I was like, I wonder who these people are and where these clips came from. But also, it doesn't really matter in the context of the movie. It doesn't matter as much. I'm sure it was like maybe a bunch of the actors or people involved in the movie.
Yeah.
But it does work really well at the end of Barbie to kind of it feels like you're seeing humanity on screen. You're seeing what it is to be human.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an interesting parallel there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole thing. It did. I think the black and white stuff plays into that as well. It kind of gives us that feeling of like memory, and it's not quite
reality
perfect yet. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you enjoy the black and white? Was it something that
I always love black and white? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
good.
Like,
yeah.
It also makes it feel more artsy to me, and independent, and like I'm watching something at a film school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm watching someone express themselves in an art form. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not. I know that I'm not being sold something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is nice. Like I love that feeling.
Yeah, there was it's weird because it just makes me, I mean, the reason that I got drawn to this in the first place when it was released was I read a lot of comparisons between it and the films of Woody Allen, I mean, I really like the films of Woody Allen. So that was like the reason that I kind of went like tracked it down originally to watch it. And Baumbach was like, yeah, this was like it's kind of like an exorcism. I needed to get the Woody Allen inspiration like out. I needed to kind of, because it would just keep bleeding into everything. So this was the way I wanted to do it. It was like, it was a film that was set in New York. It's very, very New York. Let's make it in black and white.
Yeah.
So that he could kind of excise it and move on a little bit and grow and, and still emulate someone that he is inspired by.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's interesting. Yeah. Just make his Woody Allen movie and move on.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's an interesting way to put it as well, because there's so many people. I mean, you look at like Brian De Palma, who Baumbach did a documentary on, and his Hitchcock, obsession, really, it just bleeds into so many of his movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe if he had just, what would have happened if he had just spent one film to get it out as much as possible, like get all these references they wanted, and then like see where he went from there.
Well, I feel like he kind of did that with Body Double.
Yeah.
But I guess he still had more to get out.
Yeah, it just kept coming back. Whereas Baumbach was kind of like, okay, that's good.
Yeah. So, with Baumbach's other films, do you feel like Baumbach is now making Noah Baumbach movies, or is like Marriage Story more of a Woody Allen movie?
I would say, yeah, I think he's kind of becoming his own person. I think, especially since Francis, he's gone off a bit creatively different. I think he's focusing on different characters than maybe would be presented here. And yeah, he's definitely his own filmmaker in my eyes. I don't, there's still the influence there, and you can see, especially in the comedy, I think there's a lot in common with the films of Woody Allen. But yeah, for the most part, he's just becoming his own person, and he's staying true to what he wants to make as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his next thing?
So he recently did White Noise.
Yeah,
which
I
came
still
out
haven't watched it
on Netflix. I did see it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I read the book, and I don't know. At the time, I was like, I do not know how he's going to make this film. I think I talked to Zach about it because it just feels so unfilmable.
Yeah.
And that definitely comes across, and but it's also a film that was born out of COVID.
Right.
And just kind of being like, okay, this feels relevant. I want to make this. I'm not sure what he's making next. I don't know if he's still got his Netflix deal, because I know that was kind of what he was, who he was in bed with, so to speak. He did the Merowitz stories, and then Marriage Story, and then White Noise. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure what he's working on next. But I've been, most of the films that he has made, I've really enjoyed. So
maybe he'll do Ken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I think he's also quite happy, like, just working with Gerwig.
Yeah, for sure.
Being that creative partner in her journey. It's very rewarding, I'm sure. I didn't know until I bought the Blu-ray that he also wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox and Life Aquatic with Wes Anderson.
Oh, interesting.
So he's kind of,
yeah,
these fingers in all these pies.
Yeah.
Working with, two of them. I would class him, with Anderson and Gerwig as well, but it's like a trio of the most exciting American filmmakers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would a Noah Baumbach movie? Tell me the plot of a Noah Baumbach movie Ken movie directed by Noah Baumbach starring Adam Driver.
Oh my God. This sounds like a fever dream. There would definitely be. I mean, it would be, a lot of what am I doing? It's kind of like, I think, building on the themes that are already in Barbie. Like, where do I fit in? Who am I as a person? Can I be individual while still being a part of this? There's, I think, especially in the early part of the career with like Greenberg and Francis Affenbaum, there's a lot of people being at a crossroads and trying to find out who they are before it's too late, kind of thing. It's like a clock ticking somewhere in the background, so it'd probably be something related to that if it was going to be a generic Baumbach film. Because Marriage Story, to an extent, is kind of like that. It's like these two people that are getting a divorce and trying to kind of find their own way and become, shake off this albatross that's around their neck now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, have you seen a lot of Baumbach's films, or is this kind of one of them?
Yeah, I've seen several.
Yeah.
The Merowitz stories. Which one was that?
So that was with Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, and Dustin Hoffman, where Sandler and Stiller are like brothers, and Dustin Hoffman's their dad. And they kind of get together.
I did watch one with Stiller in it. I don't know if it was that one though.
Maybe it's Greenberg.
Yeah, I can't remember. I should go back and watch them. I've seen Kicking and Screaming and Marriage Story.
Yeah,
Marriage Story is amazing. Kicking and Screaming was good. Kicking and Screaming reminded me a lot of like Linklater.
Yeah, it has got a lot of those influences of just a lot of people kind of sitting around talking about growing up.
Yeah, exactly what their life is going to be. And
yeah, he would be a good film director to do a retrospective on, because there's not too many films.
Yeah, it's not a huge filmography.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that part of Frances Ha. It's like, a lot of people speculating on what they're going to be and do.
Yeah.
And then like, Sophie being like, I'm leaving Patch.
Yeah.
I'm leaving him. And then the next thing is like, we got married.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
Patchy. What's up, bruh? He's a nice guy for today.
Yeah, he's nice. I do like that moment in the car, when he drives Frances back, and then he's like, "I like you, Frances," and she's like, "I like you too, Patch."
Yeah,
it's kind of it's sweet. It's nice.
Yeah. They've found their common ground.
Yeah. What's most interesting about this is just the fact that she doesn't have to be looking for like a sexual partner throughout the whole thing. It's like the least important thing in her life right now. Where there's so many films that are like, she's got a career, she's got a great family, will she ever find love?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of like, that's all I need to be complete. And here it's like, no, actually, I need like friends and like a stable income and a place to live.
I am glad that, but it also like acknowledges that at the same time, and it's like, there's constantly these male characters that are like, is it gonna be him? Is it gonna be him?
Yeah.
But it's like, but at the same time, the movie's like,
it doesn't. No.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And
this is.
It's not gonna be anybody, bro.
No. Yeah, because I mean, arguably, Benji is obviously the one that she's most compatible with.
Yeah.
And like, there's obviously like the flirting and stuff like that between. Well, not really.
But it's not like at the end of the movie, you're not like, oh, she's definitely ending up with him now.
Yeah.
Like you don't know.
No. Yeah, she's just happy to have a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more between her and Sophie. It's kind of like a love story between those two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then at the end, they're shining.
They are. Yeah. It's a lovely moment.
Yeah.
Life is finally
I don't know
together.
that I actually like Sophie. I think she's kind of a
flake.
Not a good friend.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But
on the flip side, Frances is very dependent.
Yeah.
On her.
It's her fault.
Wouldn't go that far. But I think that, she wants to stretch out. But it does come out of left field. It's very like, I'm very happy, and I think we're going to extend our lease. And then the next scene, Sophie's like, oh, I'm going to move in with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a ton of moments where she's like actually a good friend, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm like even trying to think. But it is also all from a certain point of view. We're getting a certain point of view throughout the
Like you
movie,
said, it's heightened.
Yeah.
Like we only see the scenes where she gets kind of irate with Sophie.
Yeah.
There's the scene in the bathroom. There's the scene when she's trying to boil the water. And then it cuts and she's like yelling on the phone, like, we bought that together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure there's lots of other stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know whether Sophie is just, we're supposed to see her as a character that's growing up and kind of, growing away from this friendship. And that maybe once Francis gets, on that same trajectory, they're going to come back together.
Yeah, to try to help her be more independent.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. She's not someone that I would be like, yeah, be really good friends with that person.
Yeah. I mean, they're really good friends, but I don't know if I would, but it's at like at the same time, I'm like, because like, I mean, a good friend would just like call you and be like, how are you doing?
Yeah. By the way, I'm moving to Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, let me tell you first, like,
yeah.
I don't know. This is before texting though.
Yeah, it is. When she's like, why are you emailing all the time?
Yeah. You love your phone with email more than me.
I know. Yeah. Wow. Look into the future. Which is kind of nice. I think that watching it after like a few years of not watching it, it's like it encapsulates 2012 really well. Like the early teens, like Adam Driver's dressed like everybody, like every kind of cool kid at a high school dressed like Adam Driver in this film. There's like the technology isn't quite there yet, but it's starting to catch up,
Yeah.
It's and I thought this was like the coolest thing when I first saw it in 2012.
Yeah. So relevant.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is me.
My favorite movie is Francis Ha, dude. You don't even know about that film life. Were you just like blown away that Adam Driver was cast as Kylo Ren?
Yeah, I mean, I can remember because this was a few years, maybe 1 or 2 years away from Chelsea and I first getting together, and obviously Chelsea knew Adam Driver from Girls, which a lot of people had their first meeting with him. I had obviously seen this, and then is it When We're Young or While We're Young? The other Baumbach film, I can never remember, but the one with Adam Driver and Ben Stiller. So I was kind of like into Adam Driver in terms of like he was a good actor. I like what he's doing. He should get more parts, and it blew my mind.
Yeah,
I was like, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. Know when you're like watching someone, you're like, they deserve to have a really good part in a really big film that I'm going to love. And it was like, he's going to be in Star Wars. And I was like, it worked. I don't know what I did. I must have just prayed on the right day to the film gods, but yeah, it worked.
Yeah. So you had read about it before the movie came out?
For Adam Driver being Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was until he took his mask off in the movie. Mm. And I still did. I didn't know who Adam Driver was.
Yeah.
So it was just like, who's this random person?
Yeah.
I was like, he's a really good actor. I like him.
He is.
But yeah, that was my first. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd seen Francis Ha before this, but obviously didn't forget.
Wasn't aware. Him. Yeah. He's not the focal. He's not the main. He's not even the main guy in this.
Yeah,
he's just kind of like
a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even the guy that plays Benji, I've seen like he's in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah,
and he's really great in that. But I didn't remember him being in Francis Ha. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
And then until I went back and watched it, and then I was like, oh,
Arguably, even with like Mickey Sumner, I wouldn't be able to tell you that she's in it. I think that it's Gerwig's film the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no one else in there that I'm like, oh yeah, they're in there. Apart from Alan Driver, but that's because I'm a big fan of Alan Driver. You know. Yeah. It's just her all over.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, she makes a movie.
She does. What a star. There's a film that I think that you might appreciate with Greta Gerwig in it that I'd forgotten about until I was like doing research for this and looking through like her filmography, called Maggie's Plan, with her and Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
It's like a very indie, like American film, but Ethan Hawke's in it and he's great, and Greta Gerwig's in it and she's great. And I think I'm just looking through now. It's got like Julianne Moore, Bill Hader, Maya Rudolph.
It's called what now? Maggie what?
Maggie's Plan. It looks like it's on HBO Max as well.
I will check it out. I mean,
yeah,
Ethan Hawke is amazing.
Yeah. I'd completely forgotten that this film exists, so that might be a good thing or a bad thing. It might be like a rediscovery, or it might be an absolute turkey
disaster.
But
I mean, those are some big people.
Yeah.
That she's acting with. Julianne Moore and Ethan Hawke.
Mm.
Bill Hader?
Yeah.
Maya Rudolph?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
This is like, man, stuff like this is so great to find.
I know. Yeah.
You know, it's like, what? This came out in 2015? Like, it's like if this had come out now, I would be like, holy shit.
I know. It's like that Bob Odenkirk film that you found.
Yeah.
It's like, what? When did this exist?
Yeah. Yeah, are you talking about Solomon and Solomon?
I am, yeah.
Or the brothers Solomon. That's what it is.
Yeah. I definitely am. Yeah.
Will Arnett and Will Forte.
Yeah.
Classic. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah.
I might watch it tonight.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to know what Well, let me know what you think.
I will not let you know, actually.
We'll have to save it for next week when we do our trailer section. I'll just plug my ears.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many great quotes in the movie.
Yeah.
That are just funny, random stuff. Like, here's me with Jay Leno. Oh, he's such a dick. I know, but don't you love him? He wasn't an alcoholic, but sometimes he would have 12 beers.
I really like the that just because you're buying dinner doesn't mean I'm going to sleep with you. What? I'm being a feminist.
Yeah. Which is obviously like, because right after that he like tries to sleep with
her. Yeah.
She's like, yeah. I just love that moment because she just stands there. She's just like, they don't say anything else.
Yeah.
But like all over her, just all over her face. She's just like, I'm stupid. He's stupid. This is stupid.
Yeah. Why did I do this? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. I do like Benji.
Yeah, I think that's is Greta Gerwig from Sacramento?
She is.
Okay. Because that's like where Lady Bird takes place.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the reference to it in this movie.
Yeah. What I like, and I think it happens to some of the best like auteurs in terms of like filmmakers, is that these themes kind of keep coming around, but they don't feel stale. You know?
Yeah.
There's not that Sacramento is a theme, but there's the theme of like hometowns and like going home and, you know, I don't know, wanting to break out of it, but then being drawn back, you know, mothers' relationships and trying to find your way. And
yeah, that's all over Barbie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, And it's got, I mean, Modern Love by Bowie playing while she's like dancing through the streets is one of the great needle drop moments in like recent memory.
Yeah.
It's just like, cool. I completely understand where her head's at. I know how she's feeling. This song kicks ass. It's perfect.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Yeah, Francis Ha is great.
Contrary to the movie's improvisational feel, the actors followed a very tightly written script with little to no deviation. See, that is crazy.
It just feels improvised, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of conversations that feel like they were just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, well, especially like some of the like more vignette-y type of things, but I mean, it definitely makes sense in terms of like the jokes, because like the Jay Leno thing, like that you can't improvise that. Like it's a funny joke, you know?
Yeah.
And there are some weird ones that I don't know if they land quite well. Like Sarah brought one up that she kind of bumped heads with, where she was just like, do people like actually talk like that? Where like, Adam Driver character is leaving, and she's like, he leaves so quickly, and Benji's like, yeah, transportation is his thing. And she's like, what?
I
Like,
know.
what is that? Like, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there like, even, and the tamale thing, it's like, that seems so improvised.
Yeah.
It's just like one shot of her and her dad, and her being like, why did mom get rid of the tamales?
Yeah, the fleeting moment I really like is when she runs into the ATM the first place, and she's like, where's your ATM? It's broken. It's not here. And she's like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just shows, I think, how good the script was. And it was kind of shot like very low budget, like on the streets of New York. It wasn't like a proper like big crew. So when she's like running through the streets, it's, you know, they're actual people.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the great thing about, I mean, I do think a lot of great films can come from improvisation and like in the moment, but like if you can write a good script and like really love it, then that's going to come through when you shoot it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they must have just had such a great time writing this together, because the movie came out amazing.
It did. Yeah. And the collaborations since have also come out amazing. So
yeah,
it's a film partnership for the ages.
Absolutely. Just like us.
That's it. Yeah. Agreed.
The podcast partnership
Yeah.
for all time.
Yeah.
To end all podcast partnerships.
That's us. We're in our Francis Ha period right now.
That's right, baby. Can't wait for that Barbie period.
Really pink.
Really pink and green.
Yeah.
Getting that Gerwig green.
Gerwig green. Do you want to rate what we rated? Want to guess what we rated it on Letterboxd?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to be 5, I think,
for
you.
I think it's got to be 5 for you too.
I think, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think it's... I mean, I was actually kind of at a 4 the other day. I think it might be... I don't know. It is really, really good.
Yeah.
I rewatched it last night, and I think it is a 5, honestly. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like trying to think, like, what is there something I don't like about it? Like, why would I rate it less?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
Because I watched it last night, and then I kind of watched, parts of it again this morning. It just doesn't feel stale. I was still kind of laughing at the same jokes.
Yeah.
And I know that, I haven't seen it for a few years, but I still feel like in a year, if I put it on, I'd still find it really funny and charming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it's aging well.
Yeah, it is.
I think maybe one of the first things I saw Greta Gerwig in was the remake of Arthur.
Oh,
Russell
dear.
Brand.
Oh, dear. Yeah. She was trying to get that green at that point, I think. Oh, dear.
Is that movie bad? Like, that's what I hear people say. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think
it's
so.
a remake, and apparently the old one is a classic. I've never seen it, but
Yeah, isn't it Michael Caine in the old one? I think.
oh, maybe.
But yeah, it doesn't look. I mean, Russell Brand, I feel, what was it 2011? Yeah, he was in his big phase.
Movie star phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Russell Brand. I know he's got a lot of controversy around him right now, but as an actor, I like him, like his stuff. So sue me. So what are we watching next week?
So I'm starting something a little bit different. I'm going to try and link the film that you chose to the film that I choose in like the most obscure way. Like when I'm watching a film, the feeling I get or the people that it makes me think of, because that happens all the time. You watch films and it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of this film, or I'm thinking of this actor, and try and link it together. And listening back to Zach and yours movies we hate shows, he mentioned one film that got me thinking. So this film, as I said earlier, Francis Ha, makes me think a lot about the films of Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And a film from Woody Allen that I haven't seen, I know you haven't seen, is The Purple Rose of Cairo.
Ah, nice. Heck yeah.
So that is what we're going to be watching next week. Because I thought about choosing Manhattan, and then I was like, I think it's too similar. I think if I'm going to do this, it's going to be like removed even further than just like something that feels exactly the same. And I have a Woody Allen like box set of films, so I pulled it out, and it says one of the best movies about movies ever made as the first line of the blurb.
Yeah.
So there's a podcast that loves movies and loves filmmaking as a whole. I think it'd be a good one to choose. So yeah, Purple Rose of Cairo, 1985. That's what we're going to be watching next week.
Awesome. And you said you have seen it?
I haven't. It's going to be a first time watch for me too.
Heck yeah.
So we haven't done that for a while.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been a minute. All right. That'll be next week, y'all. But we'll see you then. That brings us to the end of the show. You can, of course, find us on social media at Film Church Radio, and you can follow Lewis and I individually on our Letterboxd accounts. I am at Summonscope, and Lewis is at Walker Lewis 3007. There you can keep up with what we've been watching on a daily basis. We also have all of our back episodes streaming on Barbie's Back and all good podcast platforms. Please leave us a rating and review so you can know. So if we know if you like us, we need to know that.
We do.
And let us know what you want us to watch in the future. Thank you for being here, and we hope to see you next Sunday for more Film Dojo. I forgot it already.
Yeah.
Mojo Dojo? Casa House.
Casa House, yeah.
Yes, more Film Mojo Dojo Casa House Radio. The only thing left to say is...
What are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
Did you bring your rollerblades?
I literally go nowhere without them.
Bye, Bobby.
Bye, Ken.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.